have seen and sensed them many years. So are these ghosts in their further beings, or if not, which state of which realms are they in? This is the question, and then I will go through the second question later. Yeah. So usually, yeah, some people, they see the ghost, right? Yeah. It's at certain, places they see the ghost. They did see the ghost. So these ghosts usually, when we talk about the ghosts, they are different. They are, we call different kinds of ghosts. Some are, we call demonic ghost, and some are the deceased ghost, and some are living ghost. Yeah, there are different kinds of ghost. So many of the ghosts, they belong to the category of the hungry ghost of the sixth realm. We have the celestial beings, demigods, and then we have the human beings, and then we have also the three lower realms, animal realm, hell realm, and hungry ghost. So the ghost belongs to the hungry ghost, and then some ghost also belongs to the animal, right? Now, yeah, when I look into that question, it seems that for example, right, maybe your friends may have died, died, and then sometimes we say, some people say, oh, I saw my friend in my dream, I saw my friend somewhere already died, but still people complain, oh, I see this my friend this place and that place, actually this is not your friend. This is actually not your friend. Then if what you saw is not a friend, then who is that person? So that person is the actually the spirit disguised as your friend. So the spirit, those spirits, there are many kinds of limitless number of spirit, different kinds of spirit. So some spirit, they disguise, come into the disguise as your friend, and then sometimes even in the dream, because your mind is polluted by this spirit, so therefore in the dream they come. And even in the in one's house, it is possible that you can see your the deceased person, right? But actually that is not the deceased. As I said, this is the spirit. What you see is you are seeing the spirit. Because when we talk about this somebody who already passed away, for example, in the case of 49 days, right, that person already passed away, and then that person, further being cannot see. We cannot see the further being. We can, because further being, as we discussed, further beings have very very subtle mind, subtle body, like wind like body. They have wind like body, so there's no way that we can see the further being, further beings. So in fact, what we do see is the spirit, who disguise as your friend or your loved ones, and then trying to pollute our dream, try to pollute our the mind, So this is so anyway, the ghost belongs to the hungry ghost or animal, right? So this is so if you then what are the the beings in the pardo, right? What are the pardo beings? So pardo beings does not belong to any of the six types of beings. Pardo being does not belong to the celestial beings. Pardo being are not the demigods, hungry ghost, or human being. No animal, hungry, the hell. So further being is none of these six, they're just Pardo being, right? So when they take the birth, then yeah, they become the any kind of any kind of being, right? If taken as a human being, then it's a human being. So further being themselves, it does not belong to any of the 6 types of the beings, right? Yeah, these things. I think this answers, yeah. So this is the answer to the first question. Yeah, if you're still not clear, then let me know. So in fact, and also, when we talk about the ghost, there are different types of ghosts. For example, so if you try to cover all about ghosts, and it takes a lot of time. Then we have also talk about, sometimes we also talk about the landlord spirit, and sometimes we also talk about regional, your area, the area god, area spirit, all this, many of the landlord spirit, and then we have the nagas, we also have the nagas, we also have we believe the influence, the negative influence from the constellation, and also from the planets, also from the stars, and then we also have the influence and negative influence also from the nagas, the landlord spirit, and we also have the sometimes influence from the negative influence from the like there are some spirit who resides in the mountain. There are some spirit who reside, most of them resides and stays in the mountain, a mountainous area. So yeah, in some way or in another way, yeah, sometimes this happens, we have some negative influence from these things happen, so there are different types of limited number of the spirits in the spirit world. Then I will go yeah, we check with the question number 2. Please explain more about the rainbow bodies of the high lamas. How does this happen, and which realm do they reborn in? Right. So when we talk about the the rainbow bodies, although when we talk about the rainbow bodies, so rainbow body, then the instruction on the rainbow body is actually, this instruction belongs to the highest yoga tantra. So if some of we may have not received the highest yoga tantra empowerment, so we cannot go much detail into this topic, into this instruction. However, yes, this the rainbow, achieving the method and the technique for achieving the rainbow body is, it's a highly advanced, the teaching, highly advanced instruction and practice. For example, if you look into the, some of the, in the, the Nyingma, I think some of you may know Nyingma teaching, Nyingma teaching, that we call old tradition, old system, old school in Tibet, in Tibet, Nyingma tradition, or what is called as one of the main teaching is the Dzogchen, the Dzogchen, the great perfection, the great completeness. In this teaching, the method is being taught, how to achieve the rainbow body, right? Rainbow body. For example, like the great, the tantric master Padmasambhava, he also achieved the rainbow body, and then many of his 25 disciples, also achieved the rainbow body, and then many practitioners, the great practitioner like one yogi by the name of Melon Doji, he also achieved the rainbow body, and also later, in this century also, a few years ago, yeah, many the practitioners also, they achieve the rainbow body by body becomes shrink, begin to shrink to the size of the hand, so this indicates having achieved the rainbow body, right? And then in the new school, for example, like Kagyu school, then the great Marba also achieved the rainbow body, right? And then Marba, and then the great masters like the great female practitioners like Sukha Siddhi, also achieved the rainbow body. Neguma also achieved the rainbow body. Machu Labne also achieved the rainbow body. So these are some of the great female practitioners during the ancient India. And so there are many cases where the many great practitioners achieve the rainbow body, rainbow body. And then generally speaking, when we talk about achieving the rainbow body, as I said, rainbow body belongs to the highest yoga tantra instruction practice. Highest yoga tantra, there are two tantras, father tantra and mother tantra. So actually, I will talk this a little bit later. Later. Mainly the mother tantra. Mother tantras like mother tantras, and they talk about the method, method and the technique for achieving the rainbow body, right? So in the rainbow body, all the the body is purely transformed, except the hair and nails. Some nails and hairs are left. Otherwise, all the body is transformed into the light, rainbow color like light. So this is all about the rainbow body. So since this talking and having the discussion on the rainbow body, the instruction on the rainbow body requires the the empowerment. So therefore, I would like to touch on this topic since some of you may not have received the empowerment. So we are not permitted, authorized for me to this talk about more detail about the the method for achieving the rainbow body. So after after a few years, when all of you received the have received the highest yoga tantra, then I also happy to talk more detail about this rainbow bodies and like illusory body, yeah, like this. So this is the my brief and short explanation of the rainbow body, right? So then, yeah, it says, how does this happen, and which realm they do rebound in? Yeah, once the rainbow body is also similar to the obtaining the illusory body, illusory body. Once you achieve the illusory body, or once you achieve the rainbow body, it is definite that you are going to achieve enlightenment in a single lifetime. This is 100% sure. Once you create the illusory body or rainbow body, either while we are alive, either when we are alive, we do practice, and then we create illusory body. Even if we, on this very life, if we obtain the illusory body, then we are 100% sure that we will achieve the enlightenment, highest form of enlightenment, right? So this is from the tantric viewpoint, highest yoga tantra presentation. And then and also, if we are not able to achieve the enlightenment, illusory body in this very life, at least, in the pardo, instead of creating pardo, we create illusory body in the pardo. So in the pardo, you become enlightened, right? So again, this requires the practice, practice of the highest yoga tantra, and especially the completion stage practice. So yeah, we will deal much later all these things. So then, yeah, yeah, we will go through the the liberation in the palm of your hand, right? So yeah, for relating to rainbow body, I will also talk a little bit about about the illusory body, all these things. Yeah, let me read. It's a page. It's a page. Page 10. Page 10. First, let me read, and then I will explain. It says, and so we talk about how to take the rebirth in the pure land. So then, yeah, we continue, and this is not all, for you can even achieve the state of liberation or omniscient through this present rebirth, unless you don't practice. Most important of all, through this physical rebirth, you are able to achieve the state of Vajradhara, the unification of illusory body and great bliss within one short lifetime in this degenerate age. Otherwise, it would take three countless great eons to achieve the state of Buddhahood. Thus, this rebirth is worth more than 1,000 billion precious jewels. Right. So I will talk about this. So it says, with such a precious human birth, you can do so many, positive things, really many unimaginable positive, deeds, positive activities. And most important of all is, you can achieve the highest form of enlightenment, highest form of Buddhahood. That is the union of the illusory body and the blissful experience, right? Blissful experience. Now, the union of the illusory body and the blissful experience. So, anyone who is to achieve enlightenment in a single lifetime should be a human being of this continent, possess 6 elements in the body. So that means we have all the 6 elements in the body, So if you work hard, we are able to achieve enlightenment, right? For example, some bodhisattvas in the Pure Land, they make the prayer that they take a rebirth in this human continent to complete all the tantric stages of the path to Buddhahood, right? Now, if you look into the other continent, those beings, the beings in the other continent, they cannot achieve enlightenment. Even the goddess, the celestial beings of the desire realm cannot achieve Buddhahood. Cannot achieve Buddhahood because there is no drops, red drop and white drop. So they cannot achieve enlightenment, Vajradhara, enlightenment. So the most ideal, the form for achieving the state of Vajradhara, the state of union of the illusory body and the bliss, is only the human being of this continent, right? So, again, when we talk about the illusory body, right? Okay, thank you. Yeah, when we talk about the illusory body, now I will talk. There are, when we talk about, when we talk about the enlightenment, Buddhahood, there are four, different ways of achieving the Buddhahood. One is Sutrayana. One is by relying on the Sutra path, we complete all the stages of the path, which take 3 countless eons. To complete all the sutra stages of the path, So I will talk later, about the 3 countless eons, and then in the Vajrayana, and especially the high Sukha Tantra, right? Especially the high Sukha Tantra, and especially high Sukha Tantra, as we said, there are 2 kinds of tantras, Father Tantra and Mother Tantra, right? Father Tantra and Mother Tantra. So in the Father Tantra, the emphasis, the subject matter is mostly about the method, the technique for creating the illusory body. The technique for creating the illusory body. So, if we do not create illusory body, we cannot become enlightened. There's no enlightenment without illusory body, right? So, in the Father Tantra, now, for example, we can say for example in the Gurya Samaja, right? I think some of you may know Gurya Samaja. Gurya Samaja is sometimes it is the king of Tantra, right? So Gurya Samaja is a Father Tantra, is the one of the mainstream Father Tantra which talks about which talks most importantly about the creation of the illusory body, the method, the cause for creating the illusory body, right? The cause for creating the illusory body, because we have, for example, we have the human body, right? We have the human body. So in our human body, there are different kinds of winds, different kinds of winds, the 5 winds, 5 primary winds, the 5, branches, 5 branch winds, So of the 5, of all the 5 winds, the main wind is the life supporting wind. Sometimes this wind is also called the wind of 5 colors, rays of light, the wind of 5 rays of light. So this wind is the basis and the very fundamental cause for creating the illusory body, right? So with this wind, so now this wind remain very hidden in our body, hidden. So therefore all the tantric teachings come into being. All that highest yoga tantric teachings does matter, right? So with the activation of this, the subtle life supporting wind, this life supporting winds finally through the practice, through the completion stage practice, this wind finally the yogis are able to transform this wind into the illusory body, right? This illusory body gradually becomes a Buddha's form body, Sambhogaya Buddha, right? Sambhogaya Buddha. Then it says illusory body and great bliss. So so we also have, at the same time, we also have the mind. We right now we have mostly the gross mind. The mind that you have, that I have, is the gross mind, right? All the minds are very gross, gross. So therefore a lot of discursive thoughts arise. Discursive thoughts arise. So long as the gross winds manifest within us, there's no way that the subtle wind arise. So in order to manifest the subtle wind and subtle mind, all the gross mind should stop. should stop. Without stopping, there is simply no way, because the gross mind and the subtle mind cannot arise within oneself at the same time. So when one arises, gross mind arises, the subtle mind remains in the form of propensity, in the form of imprint. When the subtle mind arises, gross mind automatically comes to cease, stop, right? So the most, we have different levels of mind, different mental, the gross, the gross mind during the waking state, right? And then if you go through this dream state, sleeping, mind become more gross, mind become more subtle, right? And then during the death state, during the dying stages, the most subtle mind is what is called as clear light mind. So the most subtle mind, the most innermost subtle mind, is the clear light mind. Clear light mind. So when we talk about the theory of rebirth, you talk about the theory of rebirth, the continuation of the rebirth. So the continuation of the rebirth is established on the basis of the subtle mind, because it is this subtle mind which never ceased. It continues life after lifetime. Subtle mind goes one lifetime after another lifetime. So therefore, rebirth theory makes a sense, right? So anyway, we have a very subtle mind that is called the clear light mind. So this clear light mind, the clear light mind finally become this clear light mind we have right now. Just a clear light mind. The clear light mind that we have is the basis. Then through the practice, through using the different technique, a very profound technique in the, tantric, especially in the highest yoga tantra. This clay light mind is, transformed into the spiritual path. This mind finally become the blissful experience, what is called as the, blissful experience of the clear light. This mind finally destroy all the obscurations. At the same time, when the moment the clear light mind of the great bliss destroy all the obscurations, the most subtle obscurations, in the very next moment, this clear light mind of the blissful experience become the omniscient mind, omniscient, Buddha's wisdom, and all the all the empty nature, all the we call the emptiness of the mind, clear light mind, they also become the Buddha's Buddha's quality, and at the same time, the body becomes, when we have illusory body, and then on the final stage, all our body that we have become the Sambhogaya body, Sambhogaya. Therefore, we say when we achieve the enlightenment, we achieve all the four bodies simultaneously. We have the first Sambhogaya body, right? Sambhogaya body means you see the Buddha wearing all the crown. They have some 32 major signs, 80 minor signs, all the ornaments here, the bracelet, so some necklaces, so Buddha wearing all this. So this is Sambhogaya body, right? Then we have that Sambhogaya body and Buddha's mind, right? All the Buddha's mind is what is called as Dharmakaya, it's the Dharmakaya, wisdom mind, Buddha's wisdom mind, Then all the cessation quality, Buddha destroy all the destructive emotions, all the propensity, all the imprints, very subtle imprints left by the delusions. All this becomes the pure quality of the Buddha, pure quality of the Buddha's mind. These are the quality of the Buddha's mind. So these are quality are called the natural quality, right? And then at the same time, Buddha also, we also achieve the emanation body, right? So emanation body now, while immersed single-pointed in meditation, from the Buddha's heart, emanate different kinds of emanations. So that is the emanation body, right? So finally, in the mainstream, highest yoga tantra, for example, like Guhya Samaja is a further tantra. So it talks mainly about the illusory body, creating how illusory body is created, right? Creation of the illusory body. Now, in the Mother Tantra, for example, like there is Chakra Samvara, and we also have the like He Vajra, and then there are there's so many the Mother Tantra texts, Mother Tantra mainly but the king of the Mother Tantra is the Chakra Samvara. So in the Chakra Samvara, much is taught about the clear light mind, the blissful experience, the clear light mind. So by practicing the Mother Tantra, what kind of body we are going to achieve is now the rainbow body. In the further Tantra, you are going to create the illusory body. In the Mother Tantra, rainbow body, right? We are going to achieve the rainbow body, right? So then we have then the third, the third body, which is called as empty form body, right? So that is something also very unique, Kala Chakra. I think some of you may have heard about the Kala Chakra, In the Kala Chakra, when the Buddha taught the perfection of wisdom sutra at the Vulture Peak, at the same time he taught the Kala Chakra at the Danyaka Stupa. At the Danyaka Stupa, to those highly realized bodhisattvas, for this selective audience, Buddha taught the Kala Chakra system. Buddha taught the Kala Chakra system. Then in the Kala Chakra system, the empty form body is achieved. Empty form body means when we achieve by relying on the Kala Chakra system, Kala Chakra path, then all the material body. Right now we have the material body, we have the cells, we have particles, all these things, but through the, by relying on the spiritual practice of the Kala chakra, all the, the body, all the material body, all exhausted, and all the material body is exhausted. It comes to end. And then what we do achieve is we achieve the empty form body. There's one body called empty form body. And then at the same time, we also create one, the blissful experience. That is what is called as unchanging blissful experience, or sometimes it's called immutable bliss, right? So there are, in a way, there are three ways of achieving the, the Buddha's complete, in three ways of achieving the state of union, Buddhahood. One is achieving the illusory body, one is achieving the rainbow body, one is achieving the empty form body. So this is how we are going to achieve, right? So then, yeah. So then I will, then we talk about, then we also talk about, achieving the, to achieve the enlightenment in the sutra path. Sutra path, it says it takes three countless eons to achieve the full enlightenment in the sutra path by relying on the sutra path, right? So now, how do we achieve the three countless merit? How do we achieve the merit for three countless eons? So it's a pretty long time. Right? Yeah, sometimes we want the result, spiritual experience in a very shortest period of time. So now it is very important to understand, to get the idea of, to understand how, the spiritual path, the spiritual path of the sutra path. Because, if we understand the spiritual path of the sutra, then we don't worry much about the tantric path, because if we acquired very good understanding of the spiritual path of the sutra, it becomes very easy for us to understand the tantric path easily. If we do not understand much about the sutra path, then understanding the tantric path also becomes difficult, right? So when we talk about, so therefore when we talk about accumulating the merit for three countless eon, right? So we have, now let us try to understand the Mahayana spiritual path in the sutra. How do we understand the Mahayana spiritual path? Now here we have five spiritual path, Mahayana spiritual path, and also the 10 ground. We also talk about the 10 ground, right? So in the path of, the first path is the path of accumulation. The path of accumulation and the path of preparation, Mahayana path. Mahayana path of accumulation and the Mahayana path of preparation. So in these two paths, we create one countless eon. In these two paths, the path of accumulation, the Mahayana path of accumulation, and the Mahayana path of preparation, we create one countless eon first, right? Then path of accumulation, path of preparation, then the path of seeing, Mahayana path of seeing. In the Mahayana path of seeing, there are 10 ground. There are 10 spiritual paths. First ground, second ground, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, right? 8, 9, 10. So we have Mahayana 10 Mahayana ground, right? 10 Mahayana ground. So the 7 we call, first ground. First ground is called perfect joy. The second ground is called the stainless. The third ground is called the luminous. The fourth ground is called radiant. The fifth ground is called hard to conqueror. The sixth ground is called the manifest. The seventh ground is gone far. So up to 7, first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. In this 7th ground, you create 1 countless eon. Now you create 2 countless eon. Merit, you create the second time merit for 1 countless eon from the first ground to 7th ground. 7th ground is gone far, right? So this 7th ground is called impure path. These are called impure path. So in this 7 impure path, you create 1 countless eon. Now we have 2 countless eon, right? Then on the 8th ground is called immovable ground. Then the 9th ground is called perfect intellect. Then the 10th ground is called cloud of Dharma. I will explain all this. Cloud of Dharma. So in these 3 pure ground, Mahayana ground, you create 1 countless eon. So in total, you create 3 countless eon. You create the merit for 3 countless eon. On the path of preparation and accumulation, you create 1 countless eon, countless merit. And then from the first ground to the 7th ground, you create another merit for 1 countless eon. Then from 8, 9, 10, you create another merit, right, for 1 countless eon. So in a way, we create 3 countless merit, right? So then, the first ground. So first ground is called, so it is important to understand, because just by understanding, we create tremendous amount of merit. There's no doubt, because if we do not leave, some positive imprint, of course, if you really cultivated the spontaneous and genuine, this experience, that's totally amazing, right? Even if you are not able to cultivate in this, at least, if we leave some positive imprint while we are alive, that would be the great fortunate, very fortunate. If we are not able to leave positive imprints, when do we leave the positive imprints? Because next life there is no guarantee whether we will be human being again or not. Even if we were to take the human being, who knows that we will born, that we will come to meet with the Buddha's teaching. So there's guarantee. So therefore, while we are alive, we need to understand all these things, And then the first ground is called the perfect joy. First ground, Bodhisattva. Usually, when we achieve, when you achieve, we train to the Bodhitam, right? We train in the instruction of the Bodhitam, right? We meditate on the Bodhitam, bodhicitta, again and again. And finally, you cultivate bodhicitta. At that point, you become bodhisattva. You are on the path of the accumulation. We become bodhisattva. We are on the path of accumulation. The first Mahayana path. The first Mahayana path. Then again, once we cultivated the bodhicitta, we should not neglect it. Oh, now I got bodhicitta. We should not, neglect, because if we don't take care of our bodhicitta that we have cultivated, it will degenerate. If the strong self-cherishing thought arises, the bodhicitta degenerate. So those bodhisattva who has freshly, newly cultivated the bodhicitta and bodhidharma, they should take care of their body mind constantly. So on this, path of accumulation, the much, time and energy is being spent to sustain the bodhicitta mind, to keep the bodhicitta mind fresh and alive, And then after that, when we really gain a certain degree of very forceful and very powerful bodhicitta being increased, flourished in our mind, then we move to the next path. That is called, the path of preparation. Now, in the path of preparation, now we have, we have bodhicitta, those bodhisattvas on the path of the preparation. Now they are okay. There's no danger of degenerating the bodhicitta. What they need to do is they need to realize, they need to constantly, meditate on emptiness. So the main focus, the main practice for those bodhisattvas on the path of the preparation is to meditate on emptiness. Meditate on emptiness again and again, constantly, to gain the most deeper conviction in the nature of the ultimate nature of the reality. Emptiness, emptiness. Then when we, then those bodhisattvas, who, really perfected the wisdom on the path of preparation, then now move to the next level. Now the next level is the path of seeing, Mahayana path of seeing. We have now the first ground. The first ground, it is the perfect joy. The first ground, Mahayana first ground, is called the perfect joy. Why? Because, in this ground, those bodhisattvas has really emphasis, practice the perfection of giving, the perfection of generosity, giving. The practice of the, great strength, the great strength of, the great strength of practicing the perfection is really done, highly done very well on this first ground. So what really happened is, one is, all the stains, all the stains, all the stains, all the stains are, opposing forces to perfecting the act of generosity is totally purified. At that point, bodhisattva really, develop tremendous amount of great joy, right? So therefore, it's the perfect joy. It is called the perfect joy, right? So of all the perfection of giving is highly done, and the strength is really marvelous on this first ground, right? So although there are a lot of things to talk about in the first ground, and then what kind of qualities, when you achieve this first ground, what really happened is, at the single instant you meditate 100 meditation, you are able to enter into the meditation 100. You are able to emanate yourself 100 times simultaneously, right? And not only this, when you achieve this bodhicitta, and then the 100, the 100 Buddhas Pure Land, they shake, they move. So there are many wonderful qualities on the first ground. And the most importantly, on the first ground, right now our body is something like ordinary, right? When we achieve the first ground, what really happened is, have you seen the Buddha's image, right? The Buddha's image, Buddha's hair, hair is something like curly, right? Curly hair. Buddha has something dot on his, eyebrow. Buddha has long ear. You are beginning to develop this, similar like Buddha, but not, exact, almost similar like. You begin to have this now on the first ground. And the first ground, because this is the main cause, Later, when you really become a fully enlightened being, now you have all these, progresses, all the sign and marks progresses, and then fully, develop when you achieve enlightenment. Enlightenment, right? So the first, all this started from the first ground. First ground. On the first ground, on the first ground, on the first ground, somebody asks you for hat, somebody come and ask you for, hand, somebody asks you for, some your ear or, some organ, right? Some, internal organ, heart transplant, right? Like this. Right now, we are not ready, right? We are not ready to give away all these things, right? Why is it? Because clinging, right? So on the first ground, Buddhists are on the first ground so delighted to hear somebody just asking to give, please give me your hat, right? Now, when you give your, for example, somebody, if somebody asks, ask the, hand, if you cut it, is there any pain? No, there's no pain. It is like spitting. There's no pain at all. So therefore, Buddhists will take a great delight, joy, right? So there is really no pain at all when you, take, even cut the hand, right? So once we are able to, that's why, once we are able to cultivate an altruistic mind together with the wisdom, then, the pain is much less, physical pain much less, right? So long as we are not able to cultivate, altruistic mind, support it with, wisdom, even one, some kind of knife cut, blade cut here, we feel, some pain. So that means we need to cultivate the wisdom and the altruistic mind, all these things. So then we have the second ground. The second ground is called the stainless. The stainless, and then second ground is called stainless because on the second ground, now of the 6 perfections, right? We are talking about 6 perfections. Now the perfection of ethics, the perfection of ethics is really well done at this ground, even, ethics, ethics means morality, 10 non-virtuous actions, they really destroy the very stain of the 10 non-virtuous actions, what they do on the 6 virtuous action on this ground is so perfect that just by doing a one single, act, the act of, refraining from harmful, create tremendous amount of merit, unimaginable merit, right? So therefore, the stains, to keep the vows, to keep the ethical discipline, not a single stain is there. There's no obstructions because they have so perfected the, the ethical discipline. So this is happen on the second ground. They, they practice of, the practice of ethical discipline is so highly advanced, so highly perfected, right? So there's not a single stain on this, ground, So that is why it is, that's why it is called stainless. There's no stains, And yeah, and then the qualities, the qualities achieved, doubled on the first ground, quality first, and then the second ground, double quality. It keeps on increasing. It's increasing, right? So like this. Then the third ground is luminous, right? Now third ground is luminous because, on the third ground they practice, 37 bodhisattva practice, 37 bodhisattva practice because of the, not only this, on the third ground, because, they, first, the perfection is, patience. The perfection is patience. The practice of patience is so well done, on the third ground, because of the, because the wisdom, they, in the state of meditation, the wisdom really becomes so powerful. Even when arising from the wisdom, they have the vision the saffron-colored light. When arising from the meditation, they experience the saffron-colored rays of light in their mind, right? And so therefore it is called luminous, because they have the vision of the light rays of saffron color, right? And not only this, and then on this third, the patience, we call the perfection of patience is well done. Now in this patience, generally there are three kinds of patience. The most important thing is, somebody harm us, uh, sometimes we go through pain, right? Sometimes we go through pain, sometimes, somebody harm us, the perpetrator, did something wrong to us. And then, it looked like we have to retaliate, right? So the bodhisattva on this ground, the third ground, they remain very lucid, their mind very calm, their mind remain very lucid at this third ground. And then those persons who out of motivation, your negative motivation, just really want to really want to destroy our body. They wanted to even the bones. They want to grill bodhisattva on that ground. Never get a single hatred for the perpetrator. Their mind remain very calm, very peaceful. Even they take a great joy, take a great compassion for the perpetrator. So that is the quality of the bodhisattva on the third ground. They never retaliate. They never ever retaliate. They remain peaceful, right? So in fact, for example, like the great in Tibet, the great masters like the great master like the masters like Thome Sangpo, the great bodhisattva, the one who composed the 37 verses, 37 bodhisattva practices, right? So, sometimes what he really did is in his sometimes people offer a lot of good clothes, food and all the good clothes to him. So what he did is when he saw the beggar, when he saw the homeless person or beggar, he take the other person's beggar cloth and he wear and he take out his own new cloth and give to the beggar. So the beggar's cloth is filled with the lies, and then he wear it. Then he give the blood to these lies. So that's difficult to do for many of us. Not only this, the great master like Padu Rinpoche, I mean, just 20th century master, also Padu Rinpoche. So Padu Rinpoche also great bodhisattva, great bodhisattva. So he sometimes he's a really great bodhisattva. Yeah. So he sometimes he spend like nomad life. He does not stay in one place. He bring all this, retreat person. He meditate on one place and then he moved to another place like this. So during the summer he put some kind of medicine on his body. Apply all the medicine on the body and then he meditate and then he give the blood on the also the insects. Insects come crawling on his body. He give his own blood and flesh. Right. So yeah, there are many great also masters like Thome Sangpo, bodhisattva, also Padu Rinpoche, also bodhisattva, right? And also great the master Langri Thangpa, the master who composed 8 verses of mind training. He really is the great bodhisattva, right? So he always never smile, he always look serious all the time. Because he is actually meditating on the suffering of all the beings. So this is the that's why it's called on the third ground. The perfection of patience. Perfection of patience is highly developed, and finally, at this, the perfection of patience is excellent. Not a single, the issue. Then we have the fourth ground. Then on the bodhisattva on the fourth ground means now there now due to the again they practice 37 bodhisattva practice. They practice 37 bodhisattva practice so constantly, and because of this and then they develop the vision. They develop the vision of again the bright light, which is more brighter than the earlier one. Very bright light. They have the vision of this bright light, right? So on this radiant, right? So they experience the bright light. So on this ground, the perfection of joyous effort. Now because of because on the third ground they practice the patience so well that it gives rise to another quality, wonderful quality, that is the perfection of joyous effort. Now the joyous effort becomes really very powerful. They achieve the joyous effort. So they have no tired of taking the responsibility of liberating and freeing all the beings from the suffering, right? So they develop a really powerful the perfection of joyous effort on this fourth ground. Then on the fifth ground, on the bodhisattva on the fifth ground, hard to conquer. Now at this fifth ground, what quality obtained is the quality of concentration. The quality of the perfection of concentration. The perfection of concentration is so strong that no distraction occurs. Not a single distraction occurs. Even the maras, demonic force cannot disturb. So the perfection of the concentration is so well established. They really perfected this perfection of the perfection of concentration, samadhi, right? And then on the sixth ground, the manifest. Now on the bodhisattva on the sixth ground, why it is called manifest is now when you achieve the sixth ground, then you are closer to obtaining the qualities of Buddhahood. You are going to achieve the qualities of the Buddhahood very soon. Now there is some indications also arise, on this ground. That the sixth ground is the called manifest. Why it is called manifest is now you are very close to obtaining all the qualities, many of the qualities of the Buddha. So that's why it is called the manifest, right? And then at that point, now the perfection of wisdom is strongly, perfected. The perfection of wisdom, right? So in fact, because they obtain such a quality, they meditate, they immerse in this meditation. They immerse in meditation, and then because if they meditate on the emptiness for a long period of time, what happened? There would be a problem that benefiting other sentient beings will not come. So therefore, the Buddhas wake up from this meditation. The Buddhas try to wake up from this meditation. Child, don't do it. The time to bring benefit for the sentient being, right? So therefore, the Buddhas arise then from the meditation on emptiness, right? So therefore, it is called the manifest, right? So the power of the practice of the perfection of the wisdom is highly developed. The most powerful is developed on this sixth ground, right? And then seventh ground. There's seventh ground. Bodhisattva on the seventh ground is called gone far. Now on this seventh ground, now what, on this seventh ground, now in this single instant, they meditate. In the single instant, they meditate and they arise from meditation. In a very single instant, they instantly meditate, and in this spirit, they again come back from meditation. So that's really wonderful. Tremendously wonderful, right? We cannot do. So this quality is perfected on the seventh ground, right? Now on the seventh ground, now we have six perfection, right? Six perfection done. Now we have four perfection. What are the four perfection? The first perfection is skillful. The skillful perfection. The skillful means now they find many skillful method. The skillful method to create the merit, through many skillful method. The abundant, the limitless number of skillful method is being done here on the seventh ground, right? There are many skillful method, the wisdom, and then and by doing a very small deed, they create a huge number of a great deal of merit. That is what is called skillful. Skillful perfection is established, is perfected on the seventh ground, gone far. Then we have the fifth, eighth ground. Eighth ground is called immovable ground, right? Now on this immovable ground, eighth ground, right? Eighth ground, the perfection of prayer. Now perfection, therefore we do the prayer, right, sometimes. So the perfection of prayer is really done very well, highly done. Now on the first ground, when we achieve the first ground, we do a lot of prayers. But the bodhisattvas on the first ground, they do a lot of great prayers, almost limitless number of prayer on the first ground. Now all the prayers done on the first ground is going to fulfilled on the eighth ground. All the prayers are going to fulfilled on the eighth ground. So therefore, it is called the perfection of prayer. Perfection of prayer is completed, well perfected on the eighth ground, right? So that is called immovable, right? Immovable. Then the ninth ground. So the ninth ground is now the perfection. And the ninth ground is perfect intellect, right? Perfect intellect. So the perfection of power, the perfection of quality is perfected, is well done on the ninth ground. That is perfect intellect. Perfect intellect, right? So I don't go into much detail. Yeah, it takes time. Yeah. Then the 10th ground. Now on the 10th ground, it is called the perfection of wisdom. There's an awareness, we call the perfection of awareness is completed here on the 10th ground, right? So on this 10th ground, now the limitless number of qualities is achieved that we cannot imagine. You are going to enter into thousands, billions of meditation at the same time, like on this, and then thousands of Buddhas, Pure Land, limitless number of Buddhas, Pure Land is shaken when you achieve this 10th ground, right? And then you are, emanate, you are able to emanate your body limitless number, billions and trillions of times on this, 10th ground. Now in the 10th ground, right? And then this is the, so this is the, the final ground, right? So this is the final ground, and then on this 10th ground, now all the bodhisattvas of the 10 directions, all the bodhisattvas of the 10 directions come together, and from their bodies they emanate rays of light, emanate the rays of light and give the empowerment on the bodhisattva on the 10th ground. So bodhisattva on the 10th ground, when they give the empowerment because of the rays of light, all the rays of light, all the 10 directions, all the 10 directions are illuminated, and also the suffering of the lower limbs is specified, temporary. is specified temporary, and then specified, and then this bodhisattva those bodhisattvas on the 10th ground, they really develop a unimaginable, limitless number of qualities that they have not achieved before earlier. At this point, they achieved. Right now, on this 10th ground, now we have final is left. That final is what is called as it is called ultimate continuum. Ultimate continuum. Ultimate continuum is now, after you've completed the 10th ground, right? Now you are bodhisattva, now who totally immerse, who totally dissolve into emptiness. Totally dissolve into emptiness, right? So there is no such thinking, this thinking, that thinking, only mind very single pointedly focused, mixed with emptiness, emptiness. And then what happens is they have wisdom in their mind. They have the wisdom, right? This wisdom is very powerful wisdom, very sharp wisdom, very sharp and powerful wisdom. That wisdom is called wisdom like concentration, vajra like concentration, vajra like concentration. So this is very immovable and very sharp wisdom, right? Wisdom. And then this wisdom, this wisdom finally destroy. This wisdom finally destroy the two obscurations, the obscurations to omniscient mind, the obscuration to liberation simultaneously. This wisdom mind act as antidote and destroy the two obscurations simultaneously. The moment this wisdom destroy these two obscurations, in the very next moment, this wisdom become the Buddha's wisdom. You are Buddha. You are Buddha, complete enlightened Buddha. Your body becomes Buddha's Sambhogaya body. Your body is Sambhogaya now. Now you are Buddha. Your mind is Buddha's mind. Your body is Sambhogaya Buddha. Your mind is Dharmakaya. Your body is Sambhogaya, right? And then you emanate, and you emanate, and that emanation is called Nirmakaya. Nirmakaya, right? Nirmakaya. So all the qualities in the Buddha's Buddhahood is all Buddha. The impermanent quality, the emptiness quality, everything in the Buddha is a Buddha, in the Buddha state. Even the Buddha's hair is a Buddha. Even the Buddha's teeth is a Buddha. Even the Buddha's eyebrow is a Buddha. Even the Buddha's skin is a Buddha. How is it possible? Because Buddha has created the merit for 3 countless eons, and because of the power of this, everything comes to in that way, comes to happen in that way. So each and every quality, every phenomena in Buddha is a Buddha. So this is how we achieve the 4 bodies simultaneously. So what's the time? So yeah, I think some idea. If you not idea, yeah, you raise question, ask question, yeah. Otherwise, yeah, we will stop. Yeah, then I will, later on I will go through this, later I will, we will continue with this, the remaining. Okay, we stop here. Okay. Okay, we then stop. Yeah. Thank you. Oh, you are the Lama Sangi to get the watch game, Malavati, Salaga, Sanju Rumbacha, my Japan. You are Yababa, Young on the Gava show. On the Gava show, majority, setting making one was a way of catching you to give up. was not our wish, also. Okay, thank you. Yeah. Okay, thank you. Thank you for joining. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, thank you. You're welcome. Yeah, thank you. Okay, look like done.